Hey, welcome to my channel. In this video, we're gonna unbox and install and give some quick impressions for the PlayStation Portal replacement shelves. I got the transparent one, but this also comes in black and camouflage, and I think there's a Spider-Man style one, and I'm sure there'll be more colors down the line, but let's just get into it. So here's the box. Honestly, I'm actually surprised there's any actual graphics. It's a little bit crushed, but that's all right. But yeah, here's a white box. This is usually what other mods I've ordered come in. There's a lot of foam in here. The front panels aren't even in these foam sleeves. But here's the main course. Got some instructions in English and Chinese. Very much appreciated. It does include all the tools to do this job, but there are no screws as well, which is honestly a first. Every housing mod I've ever bought in the past has come with screws. Even if I don't use them, it's nice and it's a little bit reassuring to have extras. So let's go grab the portal now and we can get started on the teardown. First things first, you want to make sure your portal is turned off before doing any of this stuff. And then similar to the DualSense controller, if you've ever taken one of those apart, everything starts by removing the trim piece along the handles and analog sticks, starting from the bottom. This entire video is just going to be prying a lot of clips, many of which feel really stiff, but don't be afraid because the plastic is all very flexible, and even if a few clips snap, there are just so many that it usually doesn't make a difference if you only crack open these devices 1 or 2 times. Also, just be careful not to lose the PlayStation and mute buttons that are attached to these strips. After we get those strips off, we need to remove the R1 and L1 buttons so we have full access to the first round of screws. You can just pry these off with a spudger. I found prying from the top of these buttons was the easiest way to get them off. Another nice thing about this mod is that all the screws we're going to be removing are all just Phillips head and the same size, so you don't need to worry about the order or any special screwdriver bits. So there's 4 screws, 1 under each of those trigger buttons you removed, and then the other 2 are on the bottom of the handles. With all those screws removed, the back panel is now free to be pried off. As I said, there's a lot of clips holding it on, as you can see with the transparent panel here. I found that starting to pry from the sides of the controller and then just inward of where the trigger buttons are gave me the best starting point, and then I moved inward from there. Just to be honest, I struggled with this for about 20 minutes myself, so don't worry if you're having troubles. Just be patient. Alright, now that the backing is off, here's another round of 4 screws that we need to remove to get the front panels and buttons off. First one is here, and then the second one is a little bit deeper into the handle right here. And then that'll be the same on the other side. Once all those screws are removed, these front panels should pop off quite easily compared to the back panel. There's only 1 clip in each panel and some friction holding them on, so if you just push them upward a little bit and pry somewhere near the bottom, I found that the inside bottom was the sweet spot for me. They should pop off pretty easily. And now we can swap the buttons into the transparent front panels. This might vary a lot depending on the quality of your mold. My circle button was getting a little bit stuck, so I actually had to shave a bit of excess plastic off of the transparent shell for the button to move out smoothly. Here's a little test. You can see when I flip it over, all the buttons fall out except the circle. I used a little engraving tool I had as a sort of mini Dremel and just smoothed it out a little bit more, and then here you can see the circle button falling out smoothly as it should. But again, your mileage may vary a lot depending on the quality of your mold. So now we just need to do the reverse of what we did for the teardown. So put these front panels with the buttons back into place. It would also be a good idea to test all the buttons before you start screwing anything on. I actually took a closer look at the diffuser for the lights on the handles of the portal to see if I could use the original diffuser with the transparent handle, but it looks like the unofficial housing mod has the diffuser sort of bonded to the plastic of the handle. The original did seem like I could remove the diffuser, but it was also similarly bonded in some points, so it's kind of a scary thing to remove. It might crack some of the plastic. So let's flip this device back around, and then you'll need to screw them back in. Make sure you're holding them in place, applying pressure so the screw grabs and goes in properly. So there's 2 screws on each side holding those front panels in. Once those are in, you can put the back panel back on, click all of those clips back into place. Probably start from the top with this back panel. Make sure those little nubs on the top for the screw are in place, hooked around the trigger buttons properly before you click anything in. And then there's 2 screws on each side to fasten the back panel to the device. Again, make sure to apply a lot of pressure. I found that the screws on the Portal were a lot easier to strip than some of the other PlayStation devices that I've opened up in the past. Lastly, just put your trigger buttons back into place, followed by the trim that we removed around the analog sticks and the handles. Again, probably a good idea to double check that your PlayStation button and your mute button are still attached to those trim pieces. Give everything a good squeeze, make sure everything's clicked into place. Let's take a look at the device turned on now. Honestly, that looks pretty bad with the lights on. I guess it's okay otherwise if you turn the lights off, which I do have them off by default, just because I think it saves a little bit of battery and it's a little bit distracting and bright compared to the screen. But I don't know, you decide whether you like that or not. Maybe it would look better on the opaque styles like the black or the camo or the Spider-Man styled one, but as I brought up about the diffusers, they're not as good at diffusing and spreading out that LED light along the whole handle. I'm going to play with this thing for a little bit and I'll give you some of my impressions of this housing mod in terms of actual gameplay experience. So I've been testing out this transparent one for a little bit now, just doing some general gameplay, and I don't really like it. I guess as you'd expect, the finish is not quite as accurate as the official housing, so like stuff like on the edges are kind of sharp and the plastic seams and stuff like that. And then despite my efforts to fix the circle button, which is great, the D-pad is actually kind of sticky and shallow, doesn't feel like the buttons have as much snap as they originally did. I tried messing with the tightness of the screws and stuff like that, but I couldn't get it to feel quite right. The transparency is kind of cool, but those light bar lights just looked absolutely horrible. And then also stuff along the edges, like around the triggers, you can see into the controller. Basically, there's panel gaps all over the place. Not to mention that this plastic is completely smooth. There's no like grippy material like the PlayStation symbols that are present on the original housing. But yeah, I'm honestly probably going to switch it back to the original housing just because of the D-pad being messed up. But it was cool to install it, and hopefully it was helpful for you if you're looking to install one of these and if you're deciding to get this mod yourself. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And let me know down below if there's any other mods for PlayStation hardware that you'd like me to make a video about. Bye-bye.